Hey everyone, this is D, Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And today I am coming to you all with another trailer reaction. So I'll be reacting to the new trailer for Venom, There Be Carnage, starring Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and Michelle Williams. Let's get into it.
I say either, you say either, I say neither, and I say neither, neither. Let's call the whole thing off. Ta-da! Catch up.
Excuse me?
Oh my god.
Yummy.
Wow.
Good evening, Eddie.
Hey, Mrs. Chen.
Good evening, Venom.
Function Hall, Mrs. Chen.
He says hi.
One is the loneliest number that you left.
Not this song.
Thinking about you, Eddie.
Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number.
Cause you and I are the same. Every decision we ever make. Who do we leave behind? And how do we leave them? Waiting in the darkness for the rescuer who never comes. Welcome back, Eddie Brock. It's been a long time. Miss you so much. Soon come chaos. Chaos soon come.
One is the loneliest number that you ever do.
The chocolate delivery hasn't arrived yet.
No!
We had a deal.
What's gonna happen? You gonna stop protecting me?
I am happy to eat, Mrs. Chen.
No, you cannot eat, Mrs. Chen.
What?
Nothing?
Well, there's a lot going on here. So if you couldn't tell, this of course is a sequel to the 2018 film Venom, also starring Tom Hardy in the title role. And that film was directed by Ruben Fleischer, and he's previously directed films like Zombieland, 30 Minutes or Less, Gangsta Squad, and Zombieland Double Tap. So before I get too deep in my thoughts regarding the trailer, let me jump back and give you guys a little backstory regarding Venom. Of course, my introduction to Venom was Spider-Man the Animated Series, which aired on Fox Kids Network back in the day, Saturday morning cartoons. Listen, Fox Kids was it. Oh my gosh, I love me some Fox Kids. I loved all their programming. ABC was on point too. One Saturday morning, they were on point too. But Fox Kids, I don't know, it was just a little extra something for me. I mean, we are talking Bobby's World, X-Men, Batman the Animated Series, loved all three of those, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Extravaganza, Tiny Toon Adventures, and so many more. But let me not get off topic. But like I said, my introduction to Venom was in the animated series. I remember thinking Venom was so creepy, but so cool and so interesting. You know, his teeth, his tongue, his whole design. Like, I just thought he was the most interesting character on there. So then by the time we got around to Spider-Man 3, I knew a lot more about the character, about his origins, you know, a lot more about what he was supposed to look like, his motivations, all of that. And as we all know, Spider-Man 3 was quite the disappointment. It just like, they crammed in way too much, a whole lot going on. Like, it really was a mess. I mean, we had Sandman, we had the new Green Goblin, we had Gwen Stacy, we had Eddie Brock, and then we had the whole story arc with the symbiote, and then we had Venom, and it just was a whole lot going on. They literally threw everything but the kitchen sink into that film, and it did not turn out well. And I have to say, although there were a lot of aspects of it that were not good, Venom was easily the worst part. He was not developed. He was absolutely shoehorned in, and that's mainly because the studio pushed him to include Venom, and that was so not a good idea, because I think if they had left him as a little teaser at the end, it's like, oh, wait a minute, Venom, then that would have worked out. But trying to throw him into a film that already had all this going on, no. So after that, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to see Venom the way I want him to. I'm over it. So then when we fast forwarded to 2018's Venom, I was kind of intrigued. I was like, oh, is this, are we getting what I'm looking for this time around? Well, not quite. Like, I was happy to see that, hey, this is about Venom. But then when I thought about it, I was like, wait, there's no Spider-Man. That means that whole other arc that's supposed to be going on is not going to be here. So I don't know how that's going to work. Then I saw the first trailer and I was like, maybe. I'm kind of intrigued. By the time we got to the second trailer, I was like, oh no. This is gonna be some bull. Okay. This is not Venom. I'm not here for this. Ugh, get it out of here. Like, I don't have time. Well, when I finally ended up seeing Venom in the theater, I was actually kind of surprised because I actually didn't hate it. And I was just sitting there and I was just like, wow, this isn't like the complete dumpster fire I thought it was going to be. Now, was it an absolute mess narratively and as far as an adaptation of the character? Oh, absolutely. Like, we can't deny that part. But it was enjoyable. Like, I had a fun time watching it. And I didn't walk away from it feeling like, ugh. You watch some movies and it's just like, I regret even wasting my time, but I didn't feel like my time was wasted. Like, I had a good time. And what's funny is, although I was confused about the story, because I was like, where did they come up with this? I was assuming they just made up their own story as far as Venom and adapting it for the film, but no. It actually was based on a pre-existing comic book miniseries, which was called Venom: Lethal Protector. And it was also inspired by a story arc known as Planet of the Symbiotes. And Lethal Protector is really dealing with Venom's transition from just a villain to more of an anti-hero. He and Spider-Man make this pact. Look, we're going to leave each other alone, but you can't commit any more crimes. He agrees, and then he moves to San Francisco, and we go from there. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, was it a good movie? Absolutely not. Like, it was quite a mess. There was a whole lot going on. You could tell they were just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, trying to make their own kind of blend of what this character should look like. I can't say this was a good movie because that would be an absolute lie. But did I have a really fun time watching it? I did. And then at the end of the film, we got a mid-credit scene which featured Woody Harrelson as Cletus Kasady, who promises that once he gets out of jail, there will be carnage. Dun 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 dun. So naturally, I was not surprised that we ended up getting a sequel, not just because of the mid-credit sequence, but also because this grossed about $800 million on a $100 million budget. So the receipts speak for themselves, so they're like, oh yeah, we need another one of these. So this time around, we have Andy Serkis directing, and he has previously directed films like 2017's Reid and 2018's Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. But many of you, myself included, would know him as an icon in the industry, most particularly with his performances with motion capture and voice acting. Like, this man does not get enough credit for his work. I would say his first big breakout performance, and still is one that people still remember with a very classic line, which is Gollum from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, also The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey in 2012. My precious. Yes. We all remember that line that has been memed and talked about and parodied so many times over the years, and he really took that character somewhere else. We've seen the progression of CGI and computer animation over the years, but Gollum was just something new, something different. Like, he wasn't just some image on screen, but you really felt Gollum. Gollum was such a layered, conflicted character, not quite a villain, not quite a hero, all these shades of gray, empathetic and sad and frustrating and all these things, but he very much felt like a real character. And Andy Serkis's performance absolutely is the reason for that. Also King Kong in the 2005 film, and Caesar in the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy. Oh, listen, this man is so talented. So if you have not seen any of those films, I'm gonna need you guys to like get on it, because He is great. And of course, some of you will also know him as Ulysses Claw in the Avengers Age of Ultron and Black Panther. So I love that with everything he has already contributed to film, that he is now making moves as a director, and we're able to see him progress in that field. So I'm really interested in seeing what he's going to bring to this particular film, and I'm wondering, hopefully it'll be somewhat better than the first, because I'm sorry, but that first movie, you know, it was a lot. So it'll be nice to really see how they push things forward in this one, and what his vision for this is going to be. Carnage as a character scares me anyway, so as I was looking at the trailer, I was just like, ooh, like, I don't know. You know, I know they're similar, but Carnage just has a little extra something. Like, of course, Cletus Kasady is a serial killer, so there's this, you know, murderous edge that's there, and, you know, just the red and the coloring and just, I don't know, like Carnage goes a lot harder than Venom. So this almost has like a horror vibe to it. And I'm wondering how they're going to make that work. Really, from what I've heard, Carnage is more of an R-rated character. So I don't know if they're really going to go there as far as R rating, because I know that that limits your audience. And with everything going on with the movies and outdoors and everything else, they're probably going to want to get as many people as they can to go see it. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm actually really excited to see this, because this will be my first time seeing Carnage. Of course, I watched the animated series, but I don't remember Carnage as a character. You know, when you're a kid, there's so many shows to watch. These cartoons, this network, this time, this channel, and you got movies too. So yeah. So whenever Carnage made his appearance, I don't think I saw it. And then we have DVRs, we have all these sources to rewatch stuff. But if you missed it, then you were just out of luck. If you didn't record it on a VHS tape, then that was just it. So anyway, I am absolutely interested in seeing this. I'm also interested to see how this is going to tie in with Morbius, because that's something, of course, that was supposed to come out, but it's been pushed for right now. So it's clear that that is going to tie in at some point, but I don't know how. Morbius, of course, is a character that features heavily in the Spider-Man universe, and he also was featured in the animated series. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to come together too. This obviously isn't the MCU. They have the property, but Sony has the rights, so this isn't going to be a full connected universe in the same way, but it would be interesting to see what they do within this particular space with Sony. Now, it could just be me, but the voice for Venom sounds weird. I know Tom Hardy does the voice for Venom, but something about him, it just sounded kind of weird. It kind of sounded like, I was just like, it sounded like somebody dialed something up this time around. So I was like, that's weird, but I'll save my thoughts until the movie. Venom, Let There Be Carnage will be premiering only in theaters September 24th. I will definitely be watching, and I will be here to give you guys my thoughts. So, once again, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you at the movies.